A lot of reasons have been given as to why Kaizer Chiefs cannot compete with Mamelodi Sundowns. And the main reason is money. Sundowns has all the money, they buy all the players, and Chiefs has no chance. But this is where I say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's remove Sundowns from the log and say, who is number one if we remove Sundowns? It's Stellenbosch, and people will say, but they are owned by the richest man in South Africa, Urupet. But that's where we have to go to Stellenbosch and see who did they actually sign who's worth 50 million? No one. In fact, they sold two of their best players in Sibongiseni Mthethwa and Junior Mendieta, but they are still second on the log. Because the Stellenbosch, the way that they are running their team, most of the players that you see there are the players that are coming from that development system, despite the fact that they have an owner who can literally buy any player for them that they want. But the approach, the business plan, the business model of that club is completely different from Mamelodi Sundowns. Yet, they are the club that is behind Mamelodi Sundowns. Yet, they are the club that has already won a cup this season and were in the semi-finals of the other one. So now the question is your thinking still that money is everything? Because yes, money is a factor, but I don't think it's everything. Because the second thing I want to talk about is the fact that if you look at Stellenbosch, that's another example once again about Stellenbosch, is the fact that they have a plan in terms of we have Junior Mendieta, but if he leaves, we have Van Veek who's going to replace him. If he leaves, we have Tiong who's going to replace him. If he leaves, we have all of these players who are in place and ready to replace him. Look at Kaizer Chiefs. We lost Njabulo Blom, and then we're like, oh wow, who's going to play as a defensive midfielder? When did we ever replace Urenelo Elitsolonyane when he left and went to SuperSport United? Did we ever replace Uspiwe Shabalala? Never. Was there ever a succession plan? Never. Because that's another big thing. Uguti, you might have your main players right now, but if those players are not there, who's going to play? Who is ready to come in next? Because even right now, as we're watching this season, there were a lot of talks about, oh, we can't blame Mfundo Villagas or Samgelo Zwane, he's being protected and all of this. You look at Orlando Pirates, last year they had Usaleng Shining and all of those things, but this year they're playing Kabelo Dlamini, they're playing a young kid on the other side, Urelebohile Mfukeng, and he's setting the league on fire. He's playing very good football. There's no protection there because they do not want to be in a situation where they trust one player. We're even called as Kaizer Chiefs individual brilliance FC because it was either Kama Piliat was going to come up with something brilliant or Kick and Toli. Kama Piliat kept on getting injured. People started calling him a salary thief. But there's no way that you're never going to get injured if every time when you are the one who has to do everything for the team. Abotoli, same thing. Can talk about other things about Abotoli, but there were times where they were just the ones carrying the team. And you lose those individuals and then you are done. Because Kaizer Chiefs would spend 10 million on a winger who would probably get injured and then not have another person who will replace that guy instead of buying two players with good potential who can be developed because once again you have a good coach, which we'll talk about later on in the video, but they would spend money on one player and then that player gets injured and then we're done. So there is no strategy even in how we plan for the players that we have and the players that are going to come after them should they decide to leave the club. And the other thing is player acquisition. Né? This thing, a player acquisition, is obviously always going to bring money. Uguti, hey, money, how much money was spent? But look at one player who has come into Kaizer Chiefs and had great impact, Edson Castillo. And then, once again, something we'll talk about later on in the video, the management part of it, the coaching part of it, ruined a good player who was acquired for an amount which some rumors are rumoring that he came to Chiefs for free because his contract was expiring. But then, in the very same season, to reflect how horrible Kaizer Chiefs can be, they then go and get Gonzalez, who has not done anything for Chiefs, who they are not playing even that much this season. So you have a problem right there. They can do brilliant business right now and then flop at the very same season. You have Chiefs bringing in 8 players that other season, only for them to release all of them the following season. Well, not all of them, but they released Umahlati and the others are not playing. Abu Matlo are injured as we speak. And now there are a lot of debates about Abo Martu, what's happening with him. Abo Stebe was sitting on the bench for a long time. This season, they signed Abo Potan. Potan is sitting on the bench. Uranga has been sitting on the bench for the majority of the season. So all of these players are not brought in to play. They are not brought in because there's a plan to kind of fit them into the club. But it's like we're playing finder with our player acquisition. We're like, oh wow, Ditloko performed really well with Super Sports. Let's bring him to Kaizer Chiefs without even looking. Is Ditloko a comfortable defender to play the ball from the back with? Nah. And the answer is probably not. Is he a good defender though? He is a good defender. But that means we still need to get him used to the system of you play the ball and you are the one who's also tasked with the responsibility of progressing the ball. Because with Super Sport, you were not progressing the ball to the midfield. It was more of get the ball forward, more direct approach. And when they come to Chiefs, all these players are now in a foreign environment because the way the Chiefs is wanting to play is not the way that these players are used to playing. And that problem now just puts us much further away from Mamelodi Sundowns. Mind you, we're not even talking about Sundowns now. We're talking about the team that is on top, which is the Stellenbosch, if we remove the Sundowns and their money. Next up is financial practices. I think this is another thing. Now, let's talk about money because I know people will keep on going back to money. Because in case the Chiefs, ne, I understand their business and I respect that. They are a business and they should be getting money from the business, which is their business, right? But I think in business, there are times where you put money into the business and there are times where you're taking money from the business. Like I watch one of these, I think you guys know Mr. Beast. He's talking about the videos that he makes right now. He's like over 200 million subscribers. That he keeps on putting the money back into the channel, and that is actually giving him more money because now he has a not a documentary, a series that is getting with Amazon Prime. Now that's going to make him significantly more money because he knew that at this point, the time or the things that he was supposed to do is invest more and more money to the business instead of saying, oh wow, I made a video, it got 200 million views, let me take that money and buy a Bentley. No, instead he's saying, let me reinvest that money so that I can scale up. To make money, you need to spend money. Sundowns are in that position. The money that they are getting, it just gets divided among the players. And then they take more of that money and buy more players. People are going to say, but Chiefs does not have all of that money. But there were rumors, I don't know how true these things are, Uguti. Chiefs are saying they will not spend money on a player that is more than the league's money, something like that. But it's not like Chiefs only receives money from the league, right? It's not like they only receive the money from the PSL. Chiefs also gets money from sponsors. So why are we not reinvesting that money into getting good quality players, good quality coaches, good quality technical team? Because if you're just going to say, ish, we need to get somewhere business at this time, this is not the time to be getting profits. This is the time to be reinvesting in the club for real, strategically as well. Next up is direction. Chiefs does not have direction, Buffett. Chiefs does not have direction. Yabona, there are different kinds of teams that you see, Uguti. For example, let's take Stellenbosch. They use their own development, they grow those players, they sell them on. That's the strategy that most teams are using, like Brighton and Hove Albion in England. Get players that are unknown from somewhere in South America, from somewhere in Czech Republic, and then a player develops all of a sudden. How? There's Yves Bissouma. Where is this guy coming from? He's from Mali. Okay, fine, he's so good. Tottenham spends money on him. Oh wow, you have Moises Caicedo. Where is he from? Hey, South America. Let's spend money on him. You understand? But they are just making money through that. Other teams keep on coming to them and getting these players. That's their strategy. That's their plan. And then you come to Amanyama Club, Uguti. We buy players who are already there and then we just utilize them. Real Madrid, for example. And they are clear also their style of play. Real Madrid are not a tiki-taka football like Barcelona in terms of style of play. They are just a winning team. Doesn't matter how, Real Madrid will just win. So with Kaizer Chiefs, I then don't know, are we trying to play tiki-taka? Are we trying to win? What's the plan? Is this a long-term project where we're going to trust a coach with a 5-year contract? Or are we kind of saying, let's see how it does. Because of that thing, because of that lack of clarity, what ends up happening is all over. Any coach who comes in is like, the fans want beautiful football, but the fans want to win. So which one do I do? Which one do I prioritize? That's a debate that is ongoing with South Africans, with Kaizer Chiefs fans. What is the direction of the club? We don't know. We keep on hearing Chiefs' way, but what is it? We don't know. And the other thing is the fact that the one that is important is with direction, obviously, it would come to who do you hire to spearhead those things. Are you hiring people who can put you in the right route? Like, look at Liverpool right now. I think since Jurgen Klopp is leaving, they have brought back their sporting director, I think Michael Edwards. And Michael Edwards, man, he's now a CEO of football at Liverpool. So now he's going to hire people under him who are going to do exactly what he did in the Klopp era to get Abu Salah for bargain prices, about 35 million, and yet he became, you look at him now, you're like, he now is Liverpool can sell him in June to Al Hilal for 150 million, for 200 million euros. A player who they spent 35 million and has helped them win the league and the Champions League and the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup in the now a Club World Cup. But they paid so little. Yabo, if Salah was to leave Liverpool for free, that's no problem. He's paid all his money back. But selling him on for 200 million, it just shows you how genius the strategy and the management of Liverpool were with him. And it's not just them. You look at other clubs and you're like, if only my club at the very least had direction, because then they would put the right people in the right places, and because of that, Kaizer Chiefs would not be in a situation where we're fighting for top 8, because saying we're competing with Sundowns is just a joke. We're not even competing with Sekhukhune at this point, and it's a sad reality. But what do you think? Why do you think Kaizer Chiefs are sitting 8th on the log right now? And what can be done next season to get Kaizer Chiefs closer to being number 1? Because that's what we want to do. We want to win things. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals al pelo moya.